Hunting traditions and ethics are what keep hunting alive through generations. These acts are performed to show respect for the animals we hunt and to ground the hunter in humility and ethical behavior. In order for life to continue, living things must die and be consumed. But as human beings capable of complex thought and empathy, we can't take killing lightly. Taking a life is a serious thing, and denying yourself an emotional attachment to your prey is denying your own humanity. Through tradition and ethics, we as hunters police our own behavior for the betterment of both people and animals. Tradition and ethics brings meaning to the hunt, so that we're not simply killers on a murderous rampage out in the woods, but an integral part of the natural world itself. Our traditions and ethics keep us grounded in the concept of having the utmost respect for our prey and for the environment that they live in. These acts maintain our emotional, physical, and possibly even spiritual attachment to the animals. Because of this, ethical hunters are the true conservationists of the earth. The hunter respects science and logic over emotion and the status quo. We know that responsible hunting is conservation. The hunter understands that habitat loss is the real enemy of wildlife, and we fight it harder than any other group, in my opinion. But the conservation aspect of hunting is simply what allows us to continue hunting. It's not the reason that we hunt in the first place. We hunt because it's our fundamental connection with nature. And we take pleasure in rekindling our relationship with nature. Hunting also stokes our sense of self-reliance and accomplishment. Hunting gives us an intimate relationship with our food that you're not going to get at the grocery store. And to many of us, hunting is just in our soul. Before I get to this section of the video, I want to warn you that you're about to see some graphic content. So I advise you that if you have young children or overly sensitive people in the room, I'd have them leave the room during this chapter of the video. When I decided to do a video on hunting ethics, I wanted it to hit even the most diehard, tough as nails hunters right in the heart. If my ethics video doesn't make you both outraged and proud to be a hunter in the same video, well, I probably didn't do my job. What you're about to see is the part of the video where you should be outraged. The first and foremost tradition of sport hunting is to teach new hunters ethics. Most hunting cultures hold ethics in very high regard, and in fact, most cultures consider ethical hunting practices more important than actually killing an animal.
Unfortunately, some American hunters are gradually losing their moral compass when it comes to ethics. I watch videos of so-called hunters running over coyotes with snowmobiles. Every time I turn on a cable TV hunting show, it's a bunch of guys using animals for target practice at 1,000 yards. I'm seeing YouTube videos of guys laughing and tormenting animals before they kill them. These people have absolutely no honor, in my opinion, and aren't hunters in any sense of the word. Even pests like coyotes, pigs, and squirrels are living creatures that deserve our respect. Often, reducing their numbers through hunting is the best solutions for humans and for the environment, but we could still respect these animals even in death. Running coyotes down for your drunken enjoyment is unethical in the highest degree. Tormenting and torturing animals for laughs is just borderline psychotic.
still not dead.
Oh, they're both.
To real hunters, these acts are considered nothing short of pure evil.
But in retrospect, people who do such things were never taught the ethics of the hunt in the first place. So they treat animals as inanimate objects rather than living, breathing, feeling creatures. Ethics and moral principles are what guides a person's behavior. And basically there's 5 basic unwritten laws of ethics that all hunters should hold in high regard.
The concept of fair chase means that you're hunting free-roaming animals in a manner that pits your hunting ability and luck against the instincts and senses of your prey. This basically means that you're hunting in a manner where the animal has a chance to escape and evade you if your hunting techniques aren't sound. Killing animals in small enclosures is not fair chase. Shooting animals from 1,000 yards is also not fair chase. I mean, they don't even know they're being shot at and they can't see you or hear you from that distance. Do everything in your power to kill the animal quickly with the least amount of stress or suffering. This means using a caliber, bullet, or broadhead big enough to quickly dispatch an animal. This also means stalking close enough to take as many variables out of the killing equation as you can. And lastly, this means that you owe it to the animal to practice and become proficient with your rifle before you hunt. Killing out of season or without a license is called poaching. Don't do it. Hunting on private property without permission is called trespassing. Know the law in your area and follow it. Use as much of a game animal as possible rather than just wasting it. Wasting an animal is about as unethical as it gets. The non-premium cuts can make great sausage, hamburgers, or tacos. Hunting isn't just about connecting with nature, it's also a connection with your food. Many cultures view animals in the act of hunting with special religious or cultural significance. In Germany, adhering to the hunting traditions handed down from St. Hubert are a way of life, and performing rituals such as the last bite are considered a mandatory sign of respect for game animals. Here in America, albino animals are considered extremely sacred to Native Americans. And although harvesting an albino animal is legal, you have to ask yourself if it's culturally insensitive to the local people of the area. I've also hunted hogs on Jewish-owned ranches here in California, and many of them didn't want any of my hogs field dressed on their land. So always respect the local people and the places that you hunt.
The traditions of hunting ethics is pretty universal, I'd say, and we as hunters should do everything in our power to not only abide by these ethics, but to pass them down to others.
Hey guys.
And there's Becca hiking up here. I'm out here today in one of my favorite places in the Mojave Desert. A place you can't drive to, and there isn't even a trail to hike back in here. And good luck finding the GPS coordinates. This is a sacred place, not only to the original inhabitants of this area, but to anyone with any kind of connection with nature and to the human condition. Archaeologists and anthropologists have many different theories on what this spot symbolizes, and what these ancient petroglyphs behind me mean. But the fact is that nobody really knows. Petroglyphs in this area date back thousands of years. I mean, some of them even back 10,000 years or more. And unfortunately, these people left no written or oral history behind. And further up this canyon, here's more ancient bighorn sheep game animals memorialized forever. Here's more sheep. That's a pretty good one right there. And then more sheep. Some kind of animal. It's definitely not a sheep. I don't know what that is. Then this right here, I don't know, maybe a lizard? Who knows? Literally every rock in this canyon is full of sheep. And these really old petroglyphs right here are images of an atlatl, which is an ancient spear throwing device used by hunters before the bow and arrow even existed. It's believed that the bow and arrow completely replaced the atlatl here about 1500 to 2000 years ago, making this image right here at least that old, but probably much older based on the looks of the returning rock varnish. So a lot of hunting took place here a long time ago. Here's a very interesting petroglyph. A couple of bighorn sheep, but there's a lot of other figures and things that seem to be going on here. Now, what I like about this is it seems like it's a three-dimensional petroglyph, like a three-dimensional drawing. And on this side, there's another bighorn sheep, but if you look closely underneath it, there's another smaller animal, and behind it there's another smaller animal. I mean, maybe it's baby sheep, maybe it's coyotes attacking the sheep, perhaps it's even hunting dogs that were with these ancient people, and it appears one's attacking it from behind. Who knows? Only they know what these mean. Here's another ancient petroglyph of an atlatl. You know, up until about 1500, 2000 years ago, this was the main technology in the hunting world for the previous 30,000 years. Like I said, there's no roads and no trails that lead back to this area. And it's not advertised to people at all, and for good reason. You know, this is Southern California, and it only takes one dipshit wannabe thug with a can of spray paint to come out here and destroy 10,000 years of history. So, let's keep this place secret. As a hunter and outdoorsman, I feel instantly connected to this place. I mean, walk into any serious hunter's house and you'll see mounts and pictures of animals they've hunted on their walls. You know, to a disconnected city dweller, those mounts and pictures look like trophies meant for bragging. But in fact, those mounts and pictures on the wall could be more accurately characterized as memories. You know, when a deer hunter puts a rack on the wall, or a fisherman puts a picture of a fish on a wall, they're forever memorializing the hunt and the animal that gave its life for the hunt. And that's exactly what I see here in this place. You know, a memorial to countless epic hunts by these wonderful ancient people. And right over this ledge up here is, right up above this site, is an ancient hunting blind constructed of rock overlooking an ancient spring that once attracted bighorn sheep. So a lot of hunting took place here. And you see how green this spot is right here? That's because this is the site of an old spring right here. And this spring dried up in the late 19th century, but it was obviously flowing for a long time. You look at this rock right next to it, and it's just covered with bighorn sheep everywhere you look. Some really old ones right there. So perhaps this was used as an old hunting blind right here over this ancient spring site. And here's a real blind overlooking that that spring, that long since gone natural spring. And you could see the ancient people stacked rocks in front of this cave-like structure right here. And most definitely used that as a hunting blind over this well, that this natural spring that existed behind me. And here's a better look at this ancient hunting blind right here. You can see these rocks were purposely stacked like this. And right next to it, here's some rock art right here. Very old petroglyph. It's almost completely, the desert varnish is almost completely taking it back over. And you can see this looks like some type of lizard or salamander with some type of symbol above it. And right next to that, here's some images of these ancient hunters. Amazing. Anyone connected to nature sees this place as a great and sacred hunting spot. When a real hunter sees a spot like this in its entirety, they instantly know what happened here and why images of these great beasts were carved into these rocks. So why did I take you to this sacred place? Well, I took you here to show you what a trophy really means. You know, it's not a mount or a picture that you hang on your wall to brag to people about. It's a commemoration of the hunt and of that animal's sacrifice. And it's okay to memorialize our hunts and our prey, just like our ancestors did before history was recorded. You know, I took you here to show you what a trophy really means. And if you get what I'm saying, you know that a trophy has absolutely nothing to do with antler size or record books. You know, remembering what you've killed and consumed is part of being an ethical hunter. So don't lose sight of that.
And that begs the question that any ignorant social media warrior will ask. And that's, why do we still hunt when we don't need to? Well, it's because hunting gives us an honest relationship with nature. It not only equates to knowing your food, it also reinforces the truth of life and death itself. The majority of modern humans live behind the mask of city life, where they're insulated from the reality of the natural world. Hunting lets the human temporarily escape our fabricated reality and touch base with who we really are, a self-sufficient predator who has a real place in nature and a responsibility to protect it. Becoming one with the sights and sounds of nature, matching your wits against the instincts of your prey, feeling the excitement of the hunt, experiencing the adrenaline rush at the moment before the kill, and finally, the wave of emotions that overcomes the hunter when the prey is finally down is a profound human experience that's almost impossible to describe. Hunting is in our blood, and it's our biological and ancestral connection to nature. Non-hunters will never experience this and will probably have no understanding of it, and subsequently remain ignorant of its truth.
Hunting traditions and ethics serve one main purpose at their core, and that's to make the hunter consciously aware that they've killed something and reflect on the life and sacrifice of that animal. When you order a hamburger or a turkey club sandwich at a restaurant, you don't reflect on the life and sacrifice that that animal made. But when you eat your deer backstrap or homemade sausage, you do have a personal attachment to your food. You know, I hate to quote a stupid Disney movie, but that's what the circle of life is all about. Well, I hope you enjoyed my video and found it informative. And as always, good hunting.